What is up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you guys doing today? We're going to do another exciting episode of Cucumber Reviews provided by Cucumber Incorporated, where we have movie reviews, wrestling videos, and getting ready to dive back into the Novelverse once again for the summertime. Ladies and gentlemen, I have got some great projects in plan. I'm still working on my animated movie series. That's what we are doing today. I expect a couple more videos coming out very soon. I took a break, a little tiny break. I was also being stubborn, but now I am finally once here again to talk about some DC animated movies. So as you all know, the last time I decided to do some Superman movies. I talked about Superman Doomsday. You can go check out my review on that. So I finally decided, instead of telling you the story about the same movie that I just reviewed, just in two separate parts, I decided let's do the other Superman movie that I have, Superman Red Son. I never really grew up as much of a Superman fan. You know, I was always a big Batman fan or a Spider-Man fan, as you can tell from the many comic book shorts that I have shown in other videos. Go check that out. My Spider-Man review. I have always been a Spider-Man or a Batman fan. And I liked Superman, but he just wasn't really my thing, you know, so when I finally seen Superman Doomsday, you know, I was like, oh, I really like Superman. But just, there wasn't really another Superman movie that really strove me, really, except for, you know, Superman Doomsday or The Death of Superman and Reign of Supermen. Those are coming soon. So I decided, well, let's talk about Superman Red Son. Now, my exposure to Superman Red Son has only been through, like, you know, I've seen the comic at like Barnes & Noble or Books A Million or something, or like I've heard my friends talk about it, or I've even, like, you know, seen it in Injustice, you know, like from the comic skins from Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and even in the Batman Arkham games. Some of the Arkham games allow you to actually use the Red Son suits, so that's really the only exposure that I've ever had with this story. And they finally brought it out on DVD, and I was like, hey, Superman Red Son, I've never read that or anything. I want to see this. And the very first time I watched it, I was like, okay, that's cool, you know, nothing really to write home about. But I decided, let's watch it again. And I have much more of a respect for this movie than I did the first time. It's not my favorite Superman story, but, you know, it's definitely an interesting story. So it's basically the gist of, like, what if Superman was from Russia instead of coming from space? Or what if he, you know, pretty much landed in Russia instead of, you know, landing in Metropolis? Like, what would it be like? How would it change the dynamic? And this movie kind of operates kind of like Flashpoint Paradox. So like when we see Flash go back in time, for those who have not read Flashpoint Paradox, when Flash goes to this alternate reality and he sees like how things have changed, how Batman became, the story with Batman has changed, with Green Lantern has changed. You know, like, they changed up some stories, and it's the same thing with this. You know, like, how would Superman being from Russia change the dynamic with Batman? How would it change the dynamic with Wonder Woman, with the Green Lantern? How would it affect all these characters? And it did that really well. This movie does a really good job of showing you, like, you know, what happens when we become blinded by not our ego or anything, but our ideals, our morals, what we stand for. And it does a really good job of driving that in, as we see Superman, you know, trying to just make the world a better place, you know, like how he always does, but he is driven too far by his own ideals and he becomes blind to them. But this movie also does a really good job of, like, you know, showing, you know, what we think we have control of when we never really have control in the first place. Or a smarter way to say that is, this movie shows us what it's like to show somebody who thinks they're in control when they never really had control with something to begin with. And it does it magnificently. With the way how this film is directed from the guy who plays Soviet Superman, like, you really can tell he's really delivering this performance of, like, you know, he wants to make this place a better place, but you can tell, like, in his voice and just like the way how he emotes, that he knows that it's getting harder and harder and he may have to succumb to the thing he said he would never succumb to. He is worried, he ends up becoming the thing he feared most, just like how in The Thing they became what they feared most. And that is what happens in this movie when we see Superman go from this person who's really wanting to make the world a better place to actually trying to bestow upon people a utopia. But we all know what happens in a utopian society. If someone breaks the rules, it becomes more like a dictatorship. This movie captures that feeling and that theme so very well, and it is something very interesting. I strongly recommend you go watch this. If you're a Superman fan, of course you're probably going to watch this. You've probably read the comic, and you're probably wanting to go see what the differences are. I really don't know the differences, so if there's anything I'm missing, you know, please do not hesitate to let me know. Hey, you actually missed this. I would gladly take the criticism. Once again, like I said, you know, like, this is not my favorite Superman movie, but I do have a lot more respect for it now than I did then, from my first viewing. This movie for me, it honestly gets a solid B+. It's a very good story. The animation is wonderful. It's a very bright movie versus how they make the movies based on the New 52 stories. This is a much brighter film, and you can kind of see it go from going bright to eventually, like, later and later becoming a little bit darker, but maybe that was just me. But this movie is very colorful, it's very bright, and it was a nice change, but probably it was only made for this story, and it made sense. It fit. It was great. I had a fun time watching this, and I would say go watch this movie. Go find it on a streaming service. It is something I can guarantee you will not be disappointed with if you like that sort of thing. If these stories are not your cup of tea, then you're not going to like it. But guys, put in the comments below, what is your favorite Superman story? What do you think about Superman Red Son, the film? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you like the comic better? Who was your favorite person in Sun Red Superman? If you ever played Injustice, or what was your favorite skin in any of the Arkham games or in the Injustice games of playing these characters? Let me know. Don't forget to hit that like button, give it a big elbow drop. Don't forget to subscribe. Go check out my Instagram, my Patreon, my Facebook, my Twitter, and do not forget to check out my TikTok. Guys, I'll see you next time with Cucumber Incorporated. Have a good day, guys, and remember, stay a national treasure.